Recognize Mr. Subramaniam from Virginia for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam.
Patriots, tonight we are standing at a critical crossroads in American history. This isn't just about another bill making its way through the swamp in D.C. This is about broken promises, political cowardice, and the soul of our republic. President Trump has rolled out what he's calling his big, beautiful bill. And while the media is foaming at the mouth to tear it down, and RINOs are crawling out from under their rocks to virtue signal, there's something deeper going on here. Something the American people need to understand. We're seeing the classic D.C. game of smoke and mirrors. They're talking about Medicaid, debt ceilings, and tax cuts. But what they're really doing is using fear to cling to power. They hate this bill because Trump dared to challenge the status quo again. Because he dares to put America first, while they worship globalist talking points. But tonight, the wolves are circling, and even some so-called Republicans are running for cover. Thom Tillis, good riddance. Elon Musk, jumping into the ring and shaking things up. Let's break it all down.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I get started on Doge, Mr. Burton, you were one of the co-authors of Project 2025, is that correct?
Yes.
And is this administration trying to implement Project 2025? Yes or no?
In some respects, yes.
Okay, because last year we kept hearing about how they wanted nothing to do with Project 2025. That must have hurt your feelings, I bet. But are you saying that they're trying to implement all parts of Project 2025?
Well, I just said in some respects, yes.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to get that away. I'm glad there's someone being honest these days. But let's talk about Doge. So Doge promised us $2 trillion in cuts back in January. And so far, we have a report card now out. And it's actually cost us billions of dollars, maybe over $100 billion by one estimate. It's actually costing taxpayers money. And it seems like, they're cutting a lot of things. How is this possible? Well, the reason it's possible is because they're cutting the very people who are actually there to help get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. And they're cutting people who do essential research and run really important programs that save taxpayer money long term. And so the dashboard that we're talking about, the so-called transparency, was riddled with errors. There's been article after article about this. And so we know now that that dashboard cannot be trusted. What can be trusted is that we're not anywhere close to $2 trillion. In fact, there's another bill that this House just passed that adds $3 trillion to the debt. And so even if we did all these cuts, even if you cut every single federal employee in the entire government, you still end up with a situation where you're adding to the debt in this administration because of the $3 trillion in the bill that was passed a couple weeks ago that's being added to our debt. And the examples that I've heard are things like cutting meteorologists at the Weather Service, cutting essential researchers at NIH, people who are doing groundbreaking research that will spur entire industries are being cut. Sometimes the government does research and funds research because the money just isn't there in the private sector. The private sector mandate isn't there. And so that actually, you talk about the internet, for instance, that was a DoD project at one point. And DoD funded ARPANET, which became the internet. And so we'll never know all of the things that we missed out on because of some of these cuts. And I've heard a lot about, we heard earlier about these cuts to veterans' benefits. There's PFAS inspectors, nuclear scientists fired, although they tried to rehire them. There's been a lot of firings where they tried to roll them back. But, I think Ms. DeVita, I just want to know if you were to do this, is Doge doing what they're trying to do here? And why is Doge so unsuccessful right now? Why has it been such a failure?
Thank you. I believe that Doge has been a lose-lose. It has failed to find the sizable savings, as you mentioned, and has only made life harder and more expensive for working families. You mentioned a lot of the mistakes. Those don't just cost, there is not just an opportunity cost to lost potential and lost impact from those mistakes, but there is also a cost to correct for them. So rehiring and retraining all of the federal workers.
So is Doge on track to save us money? Is it going to save taxpayers money long term?
No.
Why is that?
I think DOGE has been making incredibly hasty cuts, and these have consequences. There are already a lot of protections baked into our federal workforce, our
Yes.
system of regulations. We can always add more that protect people in even better and stronger ways, but we cannot take them back without costs.
So I'd ask Mr. Burton or Mr. Dickerson, I had one idea for cuts, which is the president actually, his last term, spent $150 million plus on golf trips. Do you think that's waste, fraud, and abuse? Yes or
I
no?
certainly would think there are more high priority spending things, yes.
But do you think that's wasteful spending? Do you think we should cut? Do you think that's less or more wasteful than cutting veterans' benefits, his golf trips?
I would rather spend money on veterans.
What about $50 million for the Department of Homeland Security's private plane? That's what they requested in the appropriations bill. Do you think they should get a new plane for DHS, a private plane?
That's a factual question on whether or not this.
No.
senior
So I'm
DHS
reclaiming my time. In the end, what's happening is there's more waste, fraud, and abuse since DOGE has come into effect. It's led to poor services, a brain drain on our federal government, and it's going to cost taxpayers money long term. I yield back.
The gentleman.
The Trump bill is under attack. President Trump's big, beautiful bill is finally on the Senate floor. And guess what? The D.C. elite are in panic mode. The Congressional Budget Office claims the bill adds $3 trillion to the debt. But where were these budget hawks when Biden was spending billions on Ukraine, DEI programs, or illegal immigrant handouts? The media's Medicaid fear campaign, CNN, and the left want you to believe this bill will gut Medicaid and leave Americans out in the cold. False. What it does is cut waste, refocus resources, and remove the bloated bureaucracy. They hate it because it strips their control. Elon Musk fires shots. Elon just went scorched earth. He called out every phony Republican who campaigns on cutting spending, then turns around and votes for record debt. And he said he'll personally primary every one of them. Musk is saying what real Americans are thinking. No more lies, no more weak leadership. Thom Tillis bows out. Senator Tillis, after years of spineless fence-sitting, announces he won't run again. And then he attacks Trump, the man who gave Republicans their spine back. Typical swamp move. When the pressure comes, weak men fold. Trump's own words thrown back at him, the left is replaying Trump's past promises about protecting Medicare and Medicaid. But let's be honest, those promises still stand. What's happening now is strategic correction, not betrayal. The left just can't handle actual reform. The White House isn't backing down. Caroline Leavitt, press secretary, made it clear. Senator Tillis is just wrong. This administration is laser-focused. No cuts to essentials. But yes, efficiency, accountability, and America First policies are on the table. The bill might actually pass despite media hysteria and Reno wailing. Insiders say the bill is likely to pass. And Trump is out there grinding calls, golf games, personal pressure. The man knows how to win. Democrats panic over tax cuts. Senator Blumenthal is having a meltdown. Why? Because $4.5 trillion in tax cuts are headed to the American people, not to D.C. bureaucrats. They say it helps the rich. We say it rebuilds the middle class. They're hiding behind fake budget tricks, baseline budgeting, accounting tricks, smoke and mirrors. The Democrats are cooking the books, trying to paint this bill as financial chaos. But what they fear is transparency. And losing the gravy train. The fight isn't over. Democrats are united. RINOs are wavering. But we the people are watching. Loud, proud, and ready to hold them all accountable. The bill might pass tonight or tomorrow. But what's clear is this. The America First movement is not backing down. So here's what I need you to do. Patriots, like this video if you're sick of lies from both parties. Comment below. Should Elon Musk really launch a new political party? Would you join it? Subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so you never miss an update. Share this video. Blast it everywhere. Facebook, X, Truth Social. Let the swamp know we are awake. We are the majority. And this country? It's ours. Not theirs. God bless you. God bless President Trump. And God bless the United States of America.